Across New York State, communities are forming partnerships, engaging with local stakeholders, and imagining, assessing, and pursuing the creative, intentional reinvention of abandoned or underutilized commercial and industrial properties. Various programs administered by the State of New York and the federal government provide resources and support for brownfields redevelopment and reuse. The Center for Creative Land Recycling is proud of the role that we play in helping communities solve challenges at various stages of the redevelopment process, from initial evaluations to securing cleanup funding and private investment for new construction. Wherever you find brownfield redevelopment, you find creative, passionate people who are dedicated to improving communities, people like those you're about to meet.
We really started off with a very small vision, was what can we do to make a difference? And it was simply we took one step at a time. After revitalizing 23 buildings, we got to 2018, and that's exactly when we saw Philmont starting to take off.
Since 2000, Philmont Beautification, Inc. has been leading revitalization efforts in Philmont, a rural town in Columbia County that today features over 40 renewal projects as a $7.2 million public-private reinvestment in the community. Look below the surface of any successful reuse of land, and you will find the focused efforts of multiple individuals and organizations, often with varying perspectives.
What we see in the Bronx now is the realization of decades of work by organizations like Sobro, organizations like the Chamber, organizations like Nos Quedamos and Hunts Point. There are a ton of nonprofit organizations that have really been focused on realizing the potential of the borough.
Organizations like Youth Ministries for Peace and Justice, which has led cleanup and revitalization efforts around the Bronx River, restoring natural resources and habitats and addressing food insecurity through innovative neighborhood programs that focus on developing future stewards and leaders.
Young people have been part of the visioning, young people have been part of the organizing, young people have been part of the implementation. So we don't only believe that young people should be at the table, but we actually believe young people should create the table as well. Life-changing experiences is at the core of the work that we do.
Land reuse is paramount to what we're trying to do, but then we also need people to be the caretakers of these green spaces. The future could be bright if, again, we all work together, and the land reuse will inspire people to see that things can be different. Things can be different.
The Bronx River Alliance is one of the many organizations helping communities to reimagine their futures with an eye towards sustainability, resilience, and environmental and social justice.
What is the long-term vision for stewardship and maintenance of these spaces, and how can we marry that with workforce development, particularly in communities that have been disinvested for the long term? And that is a big part of what the potential is, both here on the Bronx River and I can imagine in many upstate communities as well.
Successful brownfield redevelopment and reuse would not be possible without the willingness of entrepreneurs to invest in communities. That was the case in Utica, where Frank Elias made a bet in an urban core that had seen decades of disinvestment.
I saw that as an opportunity, but I also saw it as a responsibility to invest here, to build a business here, and to build a business on revitalization, responsible revitalization through private business development.
2 decades later, Utica Coffee Roasting Company is thriving and providing employment opportunities while embracing the culture and history of Utica and the Mohawk Valley.
I saw it as an opportunity to go nowhere but up. One of my biggest responsibilities is to make sure that we're thinking positive about ourselves and promoting the positive things that we do here to others who may come into this area.
Talk to any of these dynamic leaders long enough, and you will hear common themes: the need to collaborate, to listen, to engage, the results that are possible when goals, resources, and hard work align.
From the Bronx Chamber's perspective, we depend on organizations like Sobro, because Sobro does have their finger on the pulse within the communities in which a lot of this revitalization is happening. So it really is about partnerships. Above everything else, it's partnership and transparency.
When we're talking about revitalizing a community, really at its core, we're talking about supporting the people who are there, the people who are coming to your community, whether it's in the areas of workforce development, educational needs, on the physical improvement side, making sure that to the extent that there's going to be redevelopment of properties or land, that it is done in a culturally and community respectful way so that everyone has the opportunity to benefit.
Flexibility and willingness to pivot and adjust assumptions about what an abandoned or underutilized property can and should be are essential as well. Just ask Gloversville Mayor Vincent DeSantis, whose upstate community is on the rebound and reinventing itself in the wake of manufacturing job losses.
Lots of communities are looking for the silver bullet. They're looking for the big corporation to come in and create 5,000 jobs in the industrial park. You shouldn't be looking for a silver bullet. You should be looking for 100 silver BBs. Jobs creation in the future is going to look a little different than jobs creation in the 20th century.
Which is why workforce development is an essential component of sustainable brownfields revitalization and reuse.
We need career development and job training so that the young people in our neighborhood are equipped with the skills that they need to compete in the workforce that is coming down the pipe. Training, workforce development, economic development support is some of the biggest things that we need. And those things are directly connected to land.
Be patient, be ready to work, and stick to it.
You can only get to the point of true revitalization by doing that boring incremental work over a course of 2 or 3 years before you get to the point where you're actually seeing something happen. But if you can do that work, what happens becomes really significant and really beneficial to the community.
Wherever you are on your brownfield journey, the principles are similar. And if you persist, you too can experience the satisfaction of having made a difference in your community.
It's a great project to see a group of people come together where we started off with nothing. I'm just so proud of the community that we came together and we actually pulled this off.